back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. In this campaign, I proudly put my record against his any day of the week. In this campaign, I'll tell you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Are you ready to make your voices heard? Ready to make your voices heard? Are you ready to make your voices heard? When we fight, we win! So I know what I'm talking about. We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship. You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
What else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously. Very seriously. And we know from the history of this issue in the United States that when you see these prices go up, it has a direct impact on the quality of life for all people in our country. So it's a big issue, and we take it seriously. And it is a priority there.
We've said it once, we've said it before, we've said it a million times. The truth shall always set you free. This is Tim. Let's get off my lawn. The mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Oh, we need to talk about Kamala Harris. We need to talk about the saint Kamala Harris. We need to talk about the Kamala Harris that can do no wrong. We need to talk about the Kamala Harris as a vice president was at 28% popularity. But now all of a sudden is the Mamala, whatever the hell it is of the world. We're flocking to her like she's our mother. In her wacky ass selection for vice president, who we're not even going to mention, who we're going to talk about, is in another video, is basically, I heard on the internet, he's the father that I've lost during the election cycle. You are fucking lunatics. The people that think Kamala Harris has all of a sudden gained intelligence, gained forthright and responsibility, and the ability to disseminate any type of information and come out with any type of sense, or make any type of sense. I can't even make sense. I'm Kamalaing it. You watched the clips in the beginning of this show. You saw her, that was her response to inflation recently. And inflation, inflation is when prices go up, and they are what we like to refer to as inflated. And when inflation goes up, the prices are higher, then the citizens of this country need to pay the higher prices. But we're going to fix it. We didn't fix it for 3.5 years. You cast the deciding vote in that disaster of a spending bill for COVID relief that we did not need, which overheated the economy, which caused this inflation, or helped cause this inflation. And somehow you have the magic key, Kamala, and you are going to turn that magic key and you are going to fix inflation, even though you are part of the administration who caused the inflation. And if you had this ability to fix this inflation, wouldn't you have done it 3.5 years ago, not waited till you were going to be elected or tried to get elected as president, that all of a sudden now you're going to fix inflation. You're going to fix the border. I was never the border czar, but I'm going to fix the border. I'm not a socialist, but we just basically watched a video that said you were a socialist. I don't believe in open immigration and open immigration policies, even though you spoke freely about how everyone should have a pathway to citizenship. Every illegal immigrant should have their health care. They should have the American dream above the people that are here legally, that were born here, that fought for this country. No. They all of a sudden, this is a joke. This literally has to be a fucking joke. That's why I wore this shirt. Because this has to be a fucking joke. I watch this. I see the news. She hasn't given a press conference in 20-something plus days now. We were on vacation, so it's 20-something plus days. When she does, she gives brief answers. You saw in the beginning of this video, all of her speeches are basically the exact same. They're no different. She is the queen of the teleprompter. Why? Because when she speaks off cuff, it comes out horribly. Listening to Kamala Harris talk is like masturbating with a cheese grater. Highly amusing at first, but then extremely fucking painful. And Trump has said it a million times. I don't think she has the intelligence to be president. I really don't. Ask Willie Brown. Willie Brown, of course, started her on her career. Bought her a BMW. Promoted her. Gave her higher salaries because of the fact that he was sleeping with her. Judge Joe Brown right over there. We're going to do a video about Joe Brown. Joe Brown came out and basically said if Kamala didn't get her way, she just hiked up her skirt. Opportunist? Sure. But does an opportunist equal intelligence? No. She was so vacuous throughout this entire process for 3.5 years that all of a sudden now they are trying. There is this turnaround that they are trying to make her out to be something she's not, which is intelligent. Our enemies are chopping at the bit. They know if Kamala is president, it's anything goes. We've talked about it before. There was the Ukrainian. I can't remember. I don't remember what country that person was from, but they were the person they were like the Nostradamus. They predicted the future, and they basically predicted the end of the UK in 2025 by a great war. You don't think that Putin is sitting there going, if Kamala Harris becomes president, why can't I just use tactical nukes in Ukraine? Because they're not going to do anything. Xi Jinping is sitting there saying, I could just invade. What are they going to do? What is Kamala going to do? Throw a word salad at us? Just because you want something different, or you have the perception of wanting something different, you can't sit there and be the butt of the joke. And the joke is this. Kamala Harris hasn't gotten any smarter. Kamala Harris hasn't gained any more street cred, like when she was smoking dope, listening to the Tupac, even though that album hadn't come out yet. It was another 1.5 years before the album even came out. But she's got so much street cred. She got that shit early. But she hasn't changed. It's the same person. It's the same person now in a media wrapping. And the media wrapping is trying to make her out to something she's not. And the joke's on us. And like I said, I see these people on social media. It's like, and they're baby-esque. They're like, well, Mamala's going to take care of us. And so is her crazy socialist vice president. Because that's like the mother and father we lost during the last elections. Maybe you lost your mother and father in the last election because they finally fucking said, listen, you're 30-something years old. Time to get the fuck out. Can't keep paying for you. I literally cannot keep paying for you. Continue to work. I can't retire because you are too lazy and too fucking stupid to get a job. And now you want Mumala to take care of you. She's not any more smart. She's not any more smart. That doesn't sound intelligent, but she's no more intelligent than she was 3.5 years ago. Just listen to her talk. Listen to her talk without the teleprompter. They're doing this. Be smart. Don't fall for the joke. They're doing the same thing they did with Joe Biden 3.5 years ago. They kept him locked in the fucking basement. And now Joe comes out and literally says, I was forced out. I was forced out. And he drops Nancy Pelosi's name. This was a coup. We've talked about how they want to make this country into a socialist, communist banana republic. The Democratic Party literally just circumvented democracy and had a coup in reference to ousting the current president and installing their own new puppet regime. That's what they're doing. The 11 million Democrats who voted in this primary, your vote means fucking nothing. I was going to grab a drink of water. Your vote meant nothing because they were going to install their own person immediately, no matter what. You have no say. You have no choice. You have to take Kamala. You have to take her because she is the best. This is Kamala Lot from the New Yorker. Where am I seeing this? This is you. I talk to people in different countries. I have friends over in London, in Ireland, in Italy. I have friends that are all over the world, and some of them are like, well, we're more fearful of Trump because Kamala seems like she'd be the safer choice. She'd be the safer choice to go into World War III, yeah. Because if you want to go down that primrose path, go right ahead, because that's where you're headed. And I'm not trying to scare people with this, but that's literally what you're choosing. Trump didn't start these proxy wars. Trump isn't funding Ukraine. We're not funding what's happening with Israel. Well, we are funding, of course. With Israel and Hezbollah and everyone else, and now Iran. You no longer have peace in the Middle East. The Middle East is a mess. Europe is a mess right now. You see the riots going on over in the UK. But don't worry, Mumala is going to make us all feel better, and we're all going to get wrapped up in the Mumala-ness. She is the same moron she was when she had the worst popularity in reference to percentage as a vice president. 28%. Favorability rating, 28%. She's still that same person. She's still the same person that gives these answers in her videos which make no fucking sense. She's still the same person that talks to people like they're children. She's still the same person that literally does want to take away your guns. She said it in videos before. She's still the same person that wants to have open borders and a pathway to citizenship and healthcare for all illegal immigrants. She's still that same person. She's still the same person that casted the deciding vote, which overheated the economy. And I love Yahoo's new thing. I love Yahoo because if you want to look for a bastion of Democratic or liberal propaganda, that is the place to go. Yahoo says the death blow for inflation is finally occurring because consumers are saying no more will we be buying these expensive items. Then they're going and looking for cheaper options. I had to hold my head a second because I was like, we're looking for cheaper options because we can't afford the options that are there in front of us. It's not that we are looking just to hurt these big businesses. No, we are looking to survive. The average family needs $11,000 more a year this year over last year to survive. The average the credit card debt is spiraling out of control. You have families now that are seeking debt counseling, not in reference to how they're paying the debt or how they will pay the debt back, but in reference to the psychological trauma that this debt is causing to them. Because what happened is, to survive, a lot of these families are using their credit cards to buy food to eat. And now the bills are coming due and they can't afford and pay the bills. But don't worry. Karine Jean-Pierre, we love Karine Jean-Pierre. She basically came out and said today or yesterday, we played the video. There's no difference between Biden. It is Obama. There's no difference between Biden and Kamala Harris. Their policies are the same. Well, really, because we have Kamala Harris telling us all of a sudden, I love Donald Trump has been talking about not taxing tips for a few months now. Kamala Harris goes to Vegas gives her speech and says, you know what, I've decided we're not going to tax tips. Really? You just signed on for 80,000 80,000 IRS agents. But now all of a sudden you're not going to tax tips when you've talked about taxing tips before? I mean, you go to their website. There is nothing. There is donate and there is how wonderful Kamala is. But there's no substance. And her website is a dichotomy of what she is. There is no substance. There is nothing there. This has to be a fucking joke. This has to be a Twilight Zone episode. Rod Sterling has to be somewhere in heaven or hell, wherever the fuck he is, writing this because of the fact that this has to be a joke. And then I wake up the other day and the University of Michigan had a poll saying that there's a 1% swing now towards Kamala Harris in reference to people thinking that she can handle the economy better than Trump. The policies of her administration forced us into this economy. But then I love it because during the same poll, 9% of the people, there was a 9% swing towards Trump in reference to percentage of people who said Trump will make them more money with his economy. So 9% more people think that Trump will make them more money in the economy, but 1% goes towards Kamala in reference to she will be able to run this economy better. What kind of it's a joke, right? It's oh God, her vice president pick. We're going to talk about that another day. But her vice president pick is even more scary. You people have to wake the fuck up. I know there's a segment here that wants a nanny state, that wants to just be taken care of by the government, and it's scary because it's these women that are in their 30s, and probably childless cat women. Maybe JD Vance was right. But we're not going to talk about that comment because you didn't literally listen to the entire comment. They took the soundbite of that comment, but not the rest of the conversation. But we don't want to talk about that because JD Vance is crazy. I love it. That's their new talk about that. Everything with the Republican Party. They're just weird. They're just weird. That's just weird. Really? Have you listened to Kamala Harris talk? Have you listened to her vice president pick talk or speak? They have to have, I love it because the big concert, that's what we're going to call it. The big event they had in Atlanta, the big rally. And we talked about this. And it's interesting because of the fact that they had 20,000 people, whatever it was. Well, they had Mary the Stallion or whatever go out there and give a free concert. She did one song. She did one very extremely vulgar song. And then after her song, people started leaving while Kamala was talking. And then they were interviewing the people that were leaving. They said, why are you leaving? They go, because we thought it was a concert. The press is no longer, not even no longer, it's been this way for years, but the press is no longer beholden to actually telling the truth or reporting the truth. They are now in the process of the Banana Republic kingmaker or queenmaker. And that's all they're doing. They are taking someone who has no right, well, you have a right to be president, but you should, just because you have a right doesn't mean you should be, but this person has no ability to lead anything, has ever done anything besides sleep with men in her career. Talks about how she was tough on crime at the border and all this when she was a prosecutor. But when you were the border czar, why didn't you tough on crime? Talks about how she was a tough on crime DA, but it was her policies that are in effect now in reference to shoplifting, which is killing the retail industry in California, in San Francisco. Wake up, people. Do your own fucking research. Don't be blinded by the media and the idiocy that is behind this machine. It's a joke, and it has to be. It literally has to be a joke. And what the scariest thing was, one day in November, I'm going to wake up and Kamala Harris is going to be voted president-elect. And any freedom that you thought you had, any ability, and some people don't want, and that's the thing, some people don't want freedom. They want to be told what to do because they're fucking weak-minded, and most of them are liberals. You live under that. You live on that umbrella. You live under that iron curtain like they did with the Soviet Union, and then you tell me how good your life is. Got a lot of videos coming up next week on Rumble, YouTube, and of course the podcast. And as always, truth shall always set you free. This is Tim. Let's get off my lawn. The Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. And I'm out of here.